centuries ago,
Okay guys, you have 90 minutes. Think old school when it comes to telling your story, like when bards were a thing.
Zordon came to the city of Angel Grove to establish a command center.
Zordon, an interdimensional being, chooses a random American in every city to establish a command center instead of literally anywhere else in the world.
The noble master sought out 6 extraordinary teenagers.
Because 6 extraordinary people in their late 20s wouldn't be angsty enough, nor would it hit the target demographic.
The young heroes could use their powers to call upon colossal assault vehicles, known as Zords.
Why would Zordon entrust this to any human being at all? He clearly has expansive powers, not to mention access to an army of robots he should have total control over, but instead he uses emotionally volatile teens. Also, if Zordon arrived centuries ago, does that mean the Zord assault vehicles are old tech? Or have they been upgraded through the years? Or the first Zords just tricked out wagons? I can't prove that's stock footage, but that's stock footage.
You might want to slip those on.
Kimberly uses her inside voice, even though she's standing near the open door of an airplane 15,000 feet in the air. When the Red Hot Chili Peppers meet the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, do you get the Mighty Hot Morphin Peppers? And what happens when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Aqua Teen Hunger Force jump in? Man, so many four-name group orgies, so little time. Mighty Morphin Point Breakers.
Alright guys, let's break!
Movie expects me to believe they can communicate with each other this easily in a free fall. Over a full minute of skydiving bullshit. That's Angel Grove? It's f***ing huge. I'm very disturbed by the fact that there's an American city the size of St. Louis that I've never heard of before. In order to save the observatory, the city of Angel Grove employs some teenagers to jump out of a plane with no adult supervision, because even though a bake sale or a car wash would probably raise more money, it wouldn't be nearly as 90s extreme.
Alright, Dad. Pay close attention. This is how the pros do it.
Yeah, I didn't do so bad.
Fake father-son characters are extremely fake.
He landed in the parking lot.
Wait, so any jackoff in town could sign up for the Jumpathon? Did the skydiving company donate all the training, manpower, airplane, and other resources needed for a safe skydiving experience so teens could feel like they're saving an observatory? Because if not, I don't think they raised any money. If anything, this event is operating at a loss. This is a pitiful turnout for a city that size. I don't even see any news cameras. That observatory is definitely going to shut down.
Has anybody seen Bulk and Skull?
They probably landed on the roof.
Or they're dead. These two assholes jump out of a plane without fully securing their chutes or their helmets. I feel a freeze frame coming at any moment, followed by the JCPenney logo, accompanied by some light videotape tracking. Hey, if these kids don't do at least 3 cool sports at the beginning, our target audience will not like this movie.
This doesn't look like the target landing zone.
We're all of 5 minutes into this movie and I've already had it with the comic relief.
Come and have a look at this.
You should come and have a look at this cliche. Whoa, did these construction workers tell their boss to come up here and take a look at this just now? The whole thing is exposed already. You mean it took until they completely cleared the dirt off this thing to tell somebody about it?
Kids, take it out!
How about you halt construction and get an archaeologist instead? Apparently there's a smoke machine under the ancient manhole.
What do you think it is?
A giant plastic Easter egg? Also, even though these guys have unearthed an ancient alien artifact, this site isn't crawling with top secret government agents erasing people's memories with laser pointers. This guy's Union, so he gets ancient evil electrocution pay. Wait, I thought Zordon set up his command center in Angel Grove, not on Tatooine.
Ay, 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 ay. The subtronic interfaces are short-circuiting.
Thanks, Alpha 5, for making no attempt to sound any different from Johnny 5, and including short circuit in your first line of dialogue.
A massive surge of evil energy is overloading our sensors.
Even though Zordon put Ivan Ooze in this egg 6,000 years ago, the sensors in Zordon's own system can't handle the evil that this egg is producing.
A morphological being known as Ivan Ooze.
Okay, 90s, what the f*** is up with your obsession with ooze? You put ooze in f***ing everything. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The X-Files, the entirety of Nickelodeon, and that scene in The Little Rascals when Waldo calls his dad. I mean, it was everywhere.
6,000 years ago, Ivan Ooze ruled the world with a reign of unparalleled terror.
Since 6,000 years ago was the beginning of the Bronze Age and the invention of written language, you'd think archaeologists would have discovered some evidence of an alien evil overlord before now. Too much time in Egypt, not enough time in Angel Grove, I guess.
Capable of enslaving the entire universe.
Fake Wizard of Oz's mouth doesn't sync up with his speech, even a little.
A group of young warriors like yourselves lured him into a hyperlock chamber and buried him deep underground.
Not quite as deep as a normal underground parking garage, though. Also, I guess they parallaxed his ass. That never fails.
Use extreme caution, Rangers. You are dealing with an evil here that is beyond all imagination.
Including the screenwriter? Some otherworldly egg emerges from the ground and the city of Angel Grove sends its finest security guards equipped with metal folding chairs.
After 2,000 years of searching, you are finally within my grasp.
Where the f*** were you looking for this egg for 2,000 years? The power of this egg obviously called you here, and that's why you're here now. So what were you doing for 2,000 years? Combing the Earth's beaches with a metal detector?
Let's crack this egg!
Why the f*** is Ivan Ooze inside an egg? He doesn't seem like an oviparous creature in any way. I guess the screenwriters came up with so many egg-related puns they had no choice. Keep in mind, this is all happening in the middle of a major city. Even though it's the middle of the night, there should still be passers-by that would see this bullshit.
Smells like teenagers.
I thought about asking what teenagers smell like, but that's the kind of question that gets you on a special list. Also, he can smell teenagers above all the other smells at this construction site, like above the sweaty working man stench. The teens he talks about just roller skated through here briefly.
Anybody see anything?
You mean that the 6 of you are ready to battle evil in short sweatpants and vests? Yes, I see that. How were these assholes this late in arriving to the scene? It was daytime when they were summoned by Zordon. They transported to their headquarters. He told them about Ivan Ooze, then sent them back, and now it's night, and way too late to see what happened. Also, they were literally in the area when they transported. Zordon didn't show them any pictures, or a short video, or even a PowerPoint presentation. Nothing. He could have simply told them about this over the phone and told them to check it out before anything happened.
Did it look something like this?
Ivan decided to assume the identity of a random security guard, even though he immediately reveals himself.
Ew, gross.
Acting!
We're the Power Rangers.
Roll credits. Why even do this? Can't you just electrocute the entire Power Ranger team right now? For f***'s sake. Evil Space Ooze beings are no match for yellow caution tape.
Welcome to my nightmare.
God damn it, does no one in this movie know how nightmares work? If you're succeeding, it's not your nightmare.
Let me get the door.
When you can tell your foe, let me get the door, before slamming a door in its face, that's not a worthy adversary. How many of these actors considered quitting forever during this scene?
Use you lose.
This fight scene wasn't so much choreographed as it was constructed around all the available puns in the area. Backflipping when running would be much more effective.
You got us cornered. We can't hold him off.
It's morphin' time.
You mean, just now? The Ooze monsters wait patiently while the Power Rangers morph mightily. Power Ranger fighting is 80% jumping. Before, they were doing normal human karate. Now they're doing normal human karate, but with vinyl suits on.
All right, let's go.
And now that they have their vinyl suits on, all of their arm moves are accompanied by swooping sounds.
I've had a Charlie horse since the Renaissance.
Even though Ivan's been trapped in an egg for 6,000 years, he knows what the Renaissance is.
All the things that I have missed! The Black Plague! The Brady Bunch reunion!
During Ivan's time in the egg, which apparently had a link to the outside world, he developed an extreme love for the Brady Bunch. In fact, I'm going to add another 50 sins for Ivan knowing the stuff he knows about in this movie.
Activating power beam.
You mean flashlight?
Activating Power Scope.
You mean normal vision but with intrusive graphics? Also, Jesus Christ, can you believe this was a tentpole summer action movie for Fox back in 1995? It came out on June 30th with Apollo 13 and Judge Dredd, meaning they actually thought this was a great July 4th holiday release. And I pity the poor bastard who watched this and Judge Dredd over the same weekend.
Later, dudes.
If they can do this flyaway bullshit, then why the hell are they even fighting? This is some serious physics-defying nonsense, which I would forgive if it didn't look fake as
CNS fall.
Man, we owe an apology to Mr. Freeze for all those terrible ice puns he used in Batman and Robin. The Power Rangers beat his number by the second reel of this movie, and 2 years earlier. All in all, though, despite the fact there are cheap effects and terrible fight choreography here, these fight scenes are no less confusing or less satisfying than the ones in Age of Ultron.
You okay?
The last time I heard this much swooping, I was watching the video for Michael Jackson's Bad. Seems like they could have done this sooner. In fact, that feels like the title this movie should have went with. I think it's the same length, maybe even shorter when you consider syllables. Also, is this some kind of boomerang sword, or is it sentient enough to fly around the bad guys like this? Also, did it forget it was a sword and decide to use a laser to cut this metal thing down? Why not just be a laser? Bad guys decide not to move away from this metal bucket thing, even though they had plenty of time to avoid getting squashed. Maybe they couldn't handle any more terrible puns and decided this is the perfect time to end it all.
Ever since you came into our lives, you've been like a father to us all.
Which brings up a solid question. Do any of these teenagers have parents? Are the Power Rangers just an army of orphan mercenaries?
There may be a power that can save Zordon. It is on the distant planet of Phaedos. It's very dangerous. All who have tried for it have perished.
Okay, well, sorry Zordon. Right? Right?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You are? I mean, you've had 30 seconds to think about this. Remember, everyone's died trying this, and you won't have enough power to get back, and all the things that make this trip total bullshit.
We may not have our powers, but we're still the Power Rangers.
No, you're just Rangers.
Hi, honey. I'm home.
Movie takes a risk by making basically every other character the comic relief, and fails miserably.
The Rangers are going after the great power.
How the f*** do you know that? You've been in a completely different location the whole time. I'm going to add 2 sins for Ivan creating a bird army with a loogie. 1 for it happening, and 2 for making me write it down. And you know what? 3 for making me say it. Movie goes full Wizard of Oz and basically does everything except have Ooze say, "Fly my pretties." I bet the actors in those bird suits paid a lot of money for a theater degree. These loogie burn human hybrids are going to fly to another planet because f*** gravity and physics.
Look at this place.
It looks strikingly similar to coastal Australia.
Come on, guys. We've got a job to do.
And you have no idea where to go and almost no idea what you're looking for. Good luck.
I'm going to recruit the parents of Angel Grove.
Are we sure this movie wasn't written by actual children? It seems odd that the adult alien would refer to all the adult humans as the parents.
I was just thinking about Zordon. You know, everything we've been through together.
Like the time he was in that tube and I stood there looking at him. Or the other time he was in that tube and told us to go fight someone. Also, in the middle of this dangerous trip where time is of the essence, I figured I'd grind this adventure and movie to a halt and think about stuff. Ah, Birdemic.
You know the funny thing about morphing? What's that? You don't appreciate it because you can't do it anymore.
Sure, let's talk about this now, while you're getting your asses kicked.
Go, Big Bird!
Using Big Bird's name in vain. Kimberly's legs survived this. 90s action heroes are saved by, who else? Xena Warrior Princess. Now that there's only one competent fighter here to fend off the bird creatures, they revert to the standard one henchman at a time method of fighting. What threat do the birds actually pose? They don't fight so much as give awkward lap dances.
Go back to wherever it is you came from.
She's from another planet, so obviously she has an English accent.
The ground is littered with the bones of those who have tried for it and failed.
I don't know if one dead, oversized llama creature qualifies as littered, but what do I know?
What has happened to Zordon?
He was attacked by this cosmic being named Ivan Ooze.
Try saying that 5 times fast without laughing.
I'm sure that when you've tried it, you all will be believing.
What exactly are you supposed to do with it? Is it food? Is it like yak? Can we use it to make the movie explain what the is?
Take it home in boxes. Take it home in cases. If your parents try to stop you, just throw it in their faces.
Man, these kids changed their opinion on ooze on a dime, just because this evil fellow showed he could rhyme. When did Ivan find the time to create a logo and label for his ooze, and then find enough plastic jars to distribute it to all the parents in Angel Grove? Dude doesn't need to take over the earth. He needs to be on Shark Tank. Ooh, this stuff smells so gross. Here, let me put my hand in it. I've always wanted Grimace's semen on my fingers. All the adults in Angel Grove decide to touch the ooze at the exact same time, instantly creating an army of grown-ups. Also, the movie accurately depicts what an audience looks like at the 45-minute mark of this movie while they walk out on it.
As the number of missing parents continues to grow.
This report is brought to you by the Exposition News Network. We tell you exactly what's happening so the screenwriter can go grab a drink. Also, Alpha 5 gets his TV orb working just in time to see something that pertains to the story.
Ivan's evil plot is taking shape.
Just from the sheer stupidity of people to stick their hands into a strange purple goo for no reason. This asshole still hasn't called the animal she promised when it was daylight.
I'm a frog.
Yes, a frog. Like the one you kissed.
Sure, that gave me a boner and all, but how does it help me fight again? Also, I like how the Power Rangers couldn't morph when they got to this planet, did absolutely nothing, and then were given their powers back, as if that problem was never a problem at all. What seemed like an obstacle they'd have to overcome is quickly swept under the rug by Warrior Princess Magic.
One step beyond this plateau, and I would begin to age as rapidly as Zordon.
How incredibly convenient, or inconvenient, however you want to put it. What kind of special magic power keeps you young in one geographical location, but then ages you rapidly when you cross into another? Who decided on that rule?
The strength is inside you. Trust it.
Speaking of trust, this woman is putting an extreme amount of trust in these kids, even though all they did was casually name-drop Zordon. She has absolutely no reason to believe they're trustworthy or can complete this mission. I mean, they couldn't even defeat a few bird people. Just as I expected, the warrior princess was an owl all along. Wait, what? Ooze making this guy dance made the final cut of the movie. These f***ing kids are still standing around like time isn't of the essence. Instead of trying to fill the time with actual plot and action, movie decides to show the kids just walking around in the woods for a few minutes.
Get back to work!
People who have been made unthinking slaves by some purple ooze somehow need to be reminded to get back to work.
Spreading ooze throughout the world. And then the universe!
Ivan outlines his evil plan with an earshot of the hero kid. The cool thing about being eaten by a skeleton is if it swallows you whole, you just fall out the back of its skull.
Alright, Goldhead!
These kids were just endowed by their animal spirits or whatever, giving them awesome ninja outfits, right? Did that not also equip them with any new fighting abilities? How the literal is pre-packed ooze coming out of this machine? Is Ivan using his magic electric powers to make bottle tops and stickers?
Parents of Angel Grove!
If these are just the parents, then there are still thousands of adults out there who haven't noticed that a large chunk of Angel Grove's population suddenly went missing.
You will return to the construction site and leap to your doom.
Yeah, leave it doom.
Why would he do this? He currently has an army of brainwashed adults that he's able to control with his mucus, and instead of using this workforce to grow his obsequious army, he decides to kill them all. So he and his 2 monsters have to do all the distributing themselves. That's not a business, it's a hobby. I'm out.
Falcon!
Sounds awesome, but all that happens is they morph from not having hoods on to having hoods on. Bad guys can conveniently and easily be defeated by a nearby pool of water.
What is this? You pick on the frog day?
Not only is this line not funny, it has no basis in truth whatsoever. These dicks have been fighting all the other Power Rangers, and pretty much exclusively them, so it's not just you egotistical bastard.
Talk about a splitting headache.
I'm just gonna add 100 cents. I don't think anyone should have any objections to that, right?
8-ball, quarter pocket!
F***ing what? Just because he lightly crashed into the wall, he disintegrates?
Sacred animals.
The animals on this pyramid are the same as the Rangers' spirit animals, because I guess this movie was written by very young children, and those are all the animals they know. So the only obstacle, the obstacle that killed so many who came before it, was fighting the handful of doofuses who lived in the stone door? Got it. Apparently this is the first time anyone ever noticed a giant hornet robot in the middle of the street.
How do you like my friends?
He's These seem to be more of an inconvenience, considering the only thing they're actually doing is obstructing traffic. This giant metal scorpion hates cars, but keeps buildings remarkably intact.
Ninja Crane Zord!
Bad guys just stand around while the Power Rangers call for vehicles from the sky to come down and help them. This takes like a full minute or so, but they just allow it to happen right in front of them. So are these Zords parked on another planet somewhere, and they fly in whenever they're summoned, or do they just materialize out of thin air?
We're out of here!
Their voices are remarkably clear, considering their mouths are completely covered. Not only is Ivan able to mass-produce his own ooze, but he also found the time to purchase and distribute matching ponchos for his mindless parent army. You would think these kids would just be eating pizza and drinking soda. Maybe the more hardcore kids are making out and drinking beer, but no. They're just exclusively eating Ivan Ooze's snot. This kid whistles, and a large group of unruly children stop what they're doing to look at him. In fact, if this ooze has brainwashed these teenagers, how is this asshole supposed to snap them out of it with a simple whistle?
Rockets away!
Amazing Zord of Power shoots these rockets, and all they do is cause somebody's 486 to crash when rendering the effects. Frog Boy waits until he gets shot before using his electrocuting tongue, because starting with this would have been way too easy.
Hang in there, Rocky!
What is causing these mighty morphin teens to talk with pumped fists all the time? This kid knows how to operate the city's monorail train. With this kind of power, why hasn't this dude won already?
Whoa, somebody call a plastic surgeon.
Body shaming. Well, I guess the jump-a-thon that kickstarted this movie's plot was all for naught. Instead of just doing this to begin with and easily defeating both bug monsters, thus eliminating the option for Ivan to possess one, they decide to draw this f***ing thing out, destroy more of the city, and give Ivan a fighting chance.
The train's broken!
This kid knows how to get the train started, but has no idea how to stop it. Of course this f***ing works. Are we sure this kid doesn't have Ivan Ooze powers over all the other kids? He was able to convince them to leave their awesome no-parents party pretty easily to go rescue all the adults.
We get Ivan into the Comet's path.
And boom!
Can a plan count as an ex machina? Because that's what this feels like. The parents should have totally fallen off at this point, right? Movie keeps buying time by cutting to different shots that move the parents back several feet. And these few children are able to slow a giant mob of grown-ups to buy time for this kid to show up with a fire hose. I get that they just need him in the crotch, but is that all the emergency button does? Raise the knee? By the way, no one is operating that bucket truck. I sure am glad this father and son I didn't care about can have a happy ending. It really made an impact on the movie's runtime.
Rangers, you made it. I'm afraid you're too late.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Sure, Ivan was wreaking havoc on the city, but couldn't they have dropped off the great power before they went to go fight him? It would have taken 5 seconds tops. Movie forces me to watch each of these kid actors one by one try to force out a tear.
To those who possess the great power, all things are possible.
Even lazily undoing the predicament that this movie wrote itself into? These assholes somehow knew standing in a circle would create the power they need to revive Zordon. Good for them. Not only does the great power allow them to bring Zordon back to life, it also repairs their entire control center, because the great power is also a great contractor. I'm glad the shiny lights from Batteries Not Included could find work again.
Rumor has it you're quite the hero.
No one seems at all curious about the alien invasion, the mass brainwashing of the entire city, or even the mild destruction of that city. They're just going to casually remember the kid who got the other kids to not be dicks to their parents, and act like there was nothing colossally strange about everything else that happened.
It's like what you taught me about martial arts. Use your head.
Your hands and feet are also important to martial arts. Were these two even in this movie? Stuff from the cutting room floor makes it into a mid-credit scene somehow. That's the band Shampoo doing their song Trouble, which I swear will soon lapse into the B-52's Love Shack at some point, but never does.
You're crazy. I like you. But you're crazy.
Ever since CinemaSins began, the most requested thing has been TV Sins, and now it's a reality. Click the link in the description below to check it out. And now, the audio outtakes.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Smells like teenagers.
Look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Go, Voltron Force!
Who are you?
There are some who call me Tim.
There, beyond the New York jungle is the monolith.
New and improved Joker products with a new secret ingredient. Smiley.
It's really creepy, yeah. Isn't it great? We could get in big trouble. I know. I wonder if its brains are still in there.
Inconceivable.
You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Well, sir, there's nothing on earth like a genuine, bona fide, electrified 6-car monorail. What I say?
Monorail.
What's it called?
Monorail.
That's right, monorail.